Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, it's me Gamerturk, and we got our very first full-fledged Sword Art Online Season 3 Alicization trailer from Anime Expo 2018. In this video, I'll be analyzing the trailer and give you information regarding what you're seeing by providing some context as to what was in the trailer, but I won't be going ahead and blurt out spoilers, so you do not need to worry. And after watching the video, if you still have questions, ask them in the comments. I may do a follow-up video if there are enough questions that I can answer without involving spoilers. First off, all the footage we see in the trailer is from the beginning of Alicization. In fact, almost every scene we got are from the prologue chapters and the first chapter of Volume 9. Except for one very short glimpse what may be from latter volumes, but from the looks of it, the trailer consists of what will become the first 3 or maybe 4 episodes of Alicization adaptation. Keep in mind that due to me avoiding spoilers in the video, the mysteries presented in the trailer will remain as mysteries until they are resolved in the anime. I'll also be structuring the scenes that were shown in the trailer, so if you consider that kind of thing to be a spoiler yourself, this has been your warning. But without further ado, let's start. The trailer begins in Underworld, the world that Alicization arc will focus on throughout the series. We see Kirito confused and looking at a gigantic tree with an axe chopping at that tree, and a young boy with blonde hair welcomes Kirito, introducing himself as Eugeo. If you don't know anything about Alicization or haven't even seen the promotional art, yes, Eugeo is one of the 3 main characters of this arc along with Kirito. The tree you see here is an important piece in the lore. It is called Gigas Cedar, a gigantic tree draining the life of the northern underworld village of Rulid, the starting point of our adventure. Keep in mind that this part of the footage is probably the beginning of episode 3, since this is where the light novel truly starts after 2 separate prologue chapters. I can't go into details, but the fact that Kirito is confused in this instance is a huge hint for you to think about. This is followed by some scenes from the second prologue of the novels, which I assume is going to be the second or maybe the third episode in the series, where Kirito is explaining this new tech and the new world. Soul Translator is of course the name of the device, which works much more differently than the other types of VR technologies we have seen so far in the series, with a long exposition heavy explanation. Half of the dialogue you see in the trailer is from the instance where Kirito is explaining Shinon and Asuna about the device. The second half, however, does not really belong here in this dialogue and kinda spoils an important piece of the story. That the AIs who live in Underworld are so advanced that they are pretty much indistinguishable from regular humans. I truly wish they would have left this bit out of the trailer, since this will probably make most of you guys jump to certain conclusions, whether they will be correct or not. I recommend just ignoring this piece of dialogue and just wait for it to appear in the anime for more context on it. The character that pops up in that bit is called Selka, the younger sister of the third main character of this arc that we will get introduced to in a bit. Then the scene changes entirely as the content shown goes even further back in novel chronology, as they are from prologue 1 of volume 9, which is most likely going to be the episode 1 of the series. The voice actors available in Anime Expo panel even did a live read from this section of the story, which was told to be episode 1. But this scene gives us some more insight on Underworld. Taboo Index is mentioned, which is effectively hard-coded rules that the inhabitants of the Underworld are not allowed to breach. Kirito, of course, gets really close to breaching these rules, along with the friends he has in this series. This scene is accompanied by the young Eugeo from the first episode, effectively experiencing the result of attempting to go against the Taboo Index, as he is overwhelmed by a specific headache, and a system message pops up in the vision of his right eye to stop him from doing so. But this is followed by a young Alice, the third main character of Alicization, once again from the first prologue chapter, being carried up high by a dragon, with Kirito giving the biggest spoiler he can, narrating over her visual with an AI who's deviated from the system, Alice. Luckily, that's not the only mystery around Alice that can be spoiled, so it doesn't really take all the fun away, as we are accompanied by more mysterious images by Kirito asking what she is. We got quick glimpses at 2 shots, first one at a blue-haired female character, most likely the character named Quinella, which is the only shot that seems like it's not from volume 9 in this trailer, and the second one, close-up of a very panicked Asuna, which ties to other visuals that are gonna come a bit later. We see a huge knight figure riding a dragon and attacking some other off-screen figure in a dark environment that surely is not the Rulid Village. That is all I can say about this instance, since I'm not willing to push further than what the trailer gives us. We hear the young Alice's voice scream, waking up young Eugeo, which should give you an idea as to how to connect the dots. We see Kirito with a lab coat crying after he presumably woke up / dived out of something. This is probably an anime original scene to end episode 1 on an even more confusing note, and be ready for these kinds of stuff. Alicization won't be all that clear cut of a journey as the previous stories were. You will be confused on a lot of instances. While I'll do my best explaining certain things in my Alicization Explained episodes, I won't step into spoiler territory and I will let the anime reveal itself, so you may need to stay confused for a bit. I can only offer you hints in those instances for you to think about yourself. Now, here we see the status window, or as it's called, the Statia window in Underworld of Gigas Cedar. Everything in Underworld has a durability stat, which acts the same way as, HP in your average MMOs. I'm pointing this out because I don't want you to feel confused. Everything, literally everything has a durability stat. Objects like Gigas Cedar or the fresh bread item we saw earlier, to characters like Kirito and Eugeo. Only certain people with a certain skill level can access this window, and the level of skill required depends on the quote-unquote level of the subject. It's easier to pull up the window of a simple bread than it is to pull up the one of this legendary tree, for example. Then we cut back to what seems like the regular story part, after the prologues I mean, where a normal-aged Kirito is attacking an orc-like creature in Underworld, which is when we cut back to the plot twist with the end of Prologue 2. Kirito gets injected by a container that you may remember earlier from the series. Just think about it. If you do, please don't mention the implication here. If you don't, well, more reason to be interested in Alicization for you, more mysteries to solve. Anyways, right after this we see Asuna panicking, followed up by the title card. This is probably gonna be the end of episode 2, and the bit we get after the title card is either going to be the start of episode 3 or a post-credit scene for episode 2 in my opinion, depending on which cliffhanger they want to go with. Post-title card, we get a scene with Eugeo narrating.
僕はずっと待っていたんだ。この森で6年間。
Now, the 6-year time skip here obviously is there to contrast what we saw earlier with young Eugeo from Prologue 1 and the rest of the footage with teen Eugeo. And of course, Kirito lying on the ground on the verge of death. Now, before I end this, I want to mention a couple of things. Underworld is an entirely separate concept, so you shouldn't be making comparisons with Aincrad or Alfheim Online. In fact, the narration from Kirito earlier should give you a good sense as to what is happening overall with all the things you saw in the trailer. How can I get out from this world? Now, the real question here is not the one Kirito just asked, the real question is, can he actually get out of this world, given all the story bits we have been provided throughout this trailer? While the trailer does spoil the shock value of Alicization's beginning, there are so many questions to ask and absolutely no context to answer them at the moment, despite all the clear information I have provided here. I still aim to read the books before October release though, that should be fun. Also, one last piece of thought about the animation. I honestly was not expecting this high of a quality. Sure, yeah, we got this with Ordinal Scale, but mind you, that was a full feature film that aired in theaters. Alicization is an anime that is going to air weekly as a series on television, so I was expecting somewhat of a downgrade from Ordinal Scale level of quality, but that was not the case. I'm really impressed here. There is a huge staff involved, including certain industry veterans overseeing tons of different aspects of the series. The art style is following the style set by Ordinal Scale, and the quality of the animation does not pull its punches either. Everything is incredibly detailed and crisp. Also, it's great to see confirmation that Yuki Kajiura is returning for the soundtrack, and you know, I just love the Alicization rendition of Swordland theme behind this trailer. It's absolutely amazing. All in all, October just can't come soon enough. Make sure to subscribe for the weekly videos I'll do, similar to my alternative Eugeo Explained series for Alicization, of course when the show hits the screens. Other than that, I wish you a pleasant waiting period until October. A huge thanks to my patrons Tiffany and Candela for supporting me, and Valgraf from SAO Wikia for helping me with the fact checking of this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.